Hello and welcome back, listeners, to the Mindful Living podcast with your host, Sana. Today, we are diving into a topic that combines spirituality, strategy, and a sprinkle of magic, releasing scarcity and embodying wealth consciousness. Joining us is none other than Alara Sage, also known as the Oracle of Wealth. Listeners, Alara's journey from six figure success to losing it all and rebuilding from the ground up is nothing short of inspiring for all of us. She's here to share how unlocking your soul's wealth codes and embracing abundance can transform not just your bank account, but your entire perspective on life. So if you're ready to shake off scarcity, tap into your creative life force and embrace wealth in all its forms, this conversation is definitely for you. So buckle up, it's going to be an enlightening ride. So Alara, welcome to the show, and it is an absolute pleasure having you with us today.
Thank you, Sana. I'm so blessed to be here.
Great. Alara, your title as the Oracle of Wealth, it is really, really intriguing. What does it mean to embody wealth consciousness? What exactly does it mean, and how did this concept come to life for you?
So it came to me through that experience of having six-figure business, having money, and
Mm-hmm.
going through the process. The first thing that happened was all of my money was stolen.
Mm-hmm.
And, when that happened, I initially had some fear, but I moved through that emotion very quickly in my body. And then I realized, I'm really good at creating whatever I desire. I've done that my whole life. So I've got this. I will just recreate it all. But Sana, that's not what happened. What actually happened is my six-figure business collapsed.
Oh.
And I went into the red and I went into debt for the first time in my life. And it caused me to pause. And it caused me to ask the questions of why is this occurring for myself? I was
Mm-hmm.
already on a spiritual journey at that point. So to me, these kinds of opportunities in life are here to reveal something that we're ready to transform within ourselves. And what I came face to face with was underlying limiting beliefs that I held around money,
Mm-hmm.
beliefs of scarcity, beliefs that there was, that money was a source of safety and yet never truly felt safe,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of whether I had money or not.
Mm-hmm.
Also, beliefs of, well, we need money, but isn't money greedy? Isn't money bad? Isn't money evil? We have to strive and grind and work for it. All these limiting beliefs that are very deeply rooted in the consciousness of humanity.
True.
And before, when I had the money, when I had the six-figure business, all of those beliefs existed. But because I had money, I was able to turn a blind eye on them. I was able to pretend they didn't exist. So
Mm.
this whole experience was very profound for me. And what it forced me to do is really come to terms with my relationship to money, heal my wounding around scarcity, around lack, heal my wounding around money, and come into, dare I say, a loving relationship to money. And so the embodiment of wealth is the embodiment of abundance, creative life force energy is our natural state of being. And
Mm.
for a long time, money has been a representation of wealth. Money is not wealth, it is a representation. And money actually is an amplifier of where we're already in our creative life force energy, the relationship we have to
Mm.
the energy through which we create our physical reality. And so wealth embodiment is really coming into a harmonic relationship with what wealth really means, our innate abundance, and in turn, healing our relationship to money. And I truly believe, Sana, that we are in what I call the new era of wealth. And this is where those of us who are going on this journey of exploring these topics, embodying this energy, we're here to shepherd in the new era of wealth onto the planet. Because just consider, how would our planet change if those who held the wealth were here to serve for the higher good of all, here to serve from the heart, from our soul? That's wealth embodiment.
Beautiful, beautiful. Very well explained, Alara. Great. So, many people struggle with scarcity mindsets, which are deep rooted in societal conditioning. So, what's the first step someone can take to begin releasing scarcity and also embracing abundance?
Wonderful question. The first thing is definitely the willingness to see.
Yeah.
As I said, I had those beliefs, had them all my life. I didn't acquire them recently, and I just didn't want to look at it. So, regardless of with the audience, speaking to the audience specifically, regardless of where you are on your wealth journey, whether you have money or you don't have a lot of money, it's about the willingness to really face what's underlying. And so, the questions you can ask yourself is, how do I really feel around money? How do I feel when I look at my bank account and it's lower than I expected? How do I feel when a bill, especially a larger bill, comes in that I hadn't anticipated?
Mm.
Do you feel safe? Do you feel secure in your creation of wealth? And these questions, just simply the contemplation and the willingness to ask yourself, how do I feel? How do I feel around people who have lots of money? How do I feel around people who are homeless and have no money? All of
Mm.
these ways that we can perceive reality and allow ourselves to contemplate what is showing up for us in these different circumstances will reveal these underlying belief structures. And awareness is always the first step, because if something is in denial, you literally can't see it. We have a very powerful conscious mind. And what
Yeah.
we place in the term denial, we literally place outside of our awareness. We don't want to look at it. So as soon as we say, you know what, I'm willing now to look at this, we bring this into the light. We bring this into awareness. Now, what that grants you is the power then to see how that belief around scarcity is truly controlling your reality. As you see these beliefs, you will see the patterns, the habits, the different ways through which these beliefs of scarcity are actually controlling and ruling your life. And now, from this awareness, now you get to say, what do I desire to believe about money? How do I desire to feel about money? And then we can go about changing those habits, those patterns, those beliefs to match what, yeah, the relationship that you really want.
Mm. Lovely, lovely. So, uh, Alara, talking about you know, creative life force energy, can you explain how it connects to wealth creation and how listeners can start harnessing it in their daily lives?
So, creative life force energy is the energy that literally creates everything. It's in everything. And we are creators of our reality. And we have this beautiful energy within us. It's also known as Kundalini Shakti in the spiritual community. And creative life force energy, in and of itself, is simply the energy of creation, right? And it's important to understand that all sexual energy is creative life force energy, but not all creative life force energy is sexual, because sexual energy obviously creates, does it not? Right? And so this energy is how we connect to, first and foremost, our desires, the things that we are truly here to create from a soul level, because you have soul desires. They're different than ego wants. Soul desires are really the things that your soul desires to create an experience for the lessons and wisdom gained at a soul level through these creations and experiences. So, creative life force energy connects us to those real desires, those desires that light us up, Sana, the things that we feel passionate about. And with this connection to those desires and our passion and what truly lights us up, that energy comes through us through our actions. And thus we create those desires. We create what we desire through our actions. So to connect to this beautiful energy is first and foremost for a lot of people. The very first step comes all the way back to asking yourself, what do you truly desire? Because there are a lot of people in this world. And when I ask clients that, they don't know.
Mm.
When I ask clients, what lights you up? Like recently, I was working with this client, what lights you up? Yoga, reading books, going out for hikes in Gaia. Those are all beautiful things.
Yeah.
But then she connected to how she really loves to support the healthcare industry. She wants to transform it. And let me
Mm.
tell you, Sana, her entire energetic body lit up. That's lighting up. And I said, "Oh, there it is. It's lighting you up." And she smiled and started laughing. And she just said, "I
Oh,
know." And it's a hard thing to give myself permission because it's bold and it's courageous and
yes,
it's edgy.
yes.
But these are the things that we need to connect to. So asking yourself, what lights you up? What are the things in your life? Not that you just enjoy, because that's a beautiful energy, but you feel
Mm.
that rise of passion. It doesn't matter what it is, that is unique to you. And the courage to say yes to that is where we really start living our life with aliveness and the embodiment of wealth.
Wow, wow, beautiful. So, on the flip, Alara, while wealth consciousness emphasizes abundance, some might argue it is simply a mindset that ignores systemic barriers, like income inequality or privilege. How do you address these critics?
I love this question. I've never been asked this question. This is beautiful.
Mhm.
It's not to say that poverty, that lack, that scarcity doesn't exist on our planet. There is absolutely the experience of these energies, just like there's the experience of trauma and pain.
Mm.
And that doesn't mean that's who we are innately. And
Okay.
the understanding on a spiritual level that we have been conditioned for many generations to believe in lack. So we're not trying to say lack doesn't exist, that this pain of the suffering of trying to survive in the human reality doesn't exist. What I'm
Mm.
trying to say is that's not our natural state of being. And through self awareness and through, again, the desire to transform this, both for ourselves, because when we do this for ourselves, we also transform this for humanity, both for ourselves and for humanity, is how we start to shift this experience on this planet out of this scarcity, this lack, this suffering into wealth, abundance, and thriving.
True, true. That's a great answer. So, for entrepreneurs who are trying to balance spiritual alignment with business strategy, what's that one common mistake you have seen they make, and then how do you suggest they can overcome it?
Another spectacular question. So, the biggest thing when we are tuned in, right, for those spiritual entrepreneurs, for those entrepreneurs who are conscious, who understand the conversation of self awareness, intuition,
Hmm.
we know, we have that inner insight,
Mm.
that inner authority of where our true north is, right? What
Right.
feels good? Where in the business, this just, The marketing feels good, it feels really aligned, but you move over to the team, there's something there that just doesn't feel like there's flow, like there's energetic flow. This is your inner intuition. And the biggest mistake that I find that visionary entrepreneurs make is listening to information outside of themselves,
Mhm.
overriding that inner intuition. So we always need to take guidance. We need to hear from other perspectives, receive uh, guidance and suggestion from people around us. Always, 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 we want to have an open ear and an open heart to that information. However, the discernment between is that relevant, that piece of information, that strategy, that way of doing business, is that aligned to my true north and the business true north? Or is that relevant to that person or a different circumstance? Because none of this is cookie cutter, right? None of this is one size fits all. We all know that very, very well. And so that discernment and ultimately listening to that inner authority above everything else is truly what makes and breaks success. If you think about the visionaries, the geniuses, the innovators of our time, the Wright brothers. How many people told them, yeah, you're not going to fly, right? That's ridiculous. We can't do that. And they didn't listen. They had that inner knowing that it was possible and that they were the ones to bring it into humanity. The geniuses of the world, the successes of the world are those who are listening to that inner authority above all else.
True, true. It's a valid point. Great, great, Alara. Also, how do you help leaders turn their biggest breakdowns, biggest, toughest moments they face, failures into breakthroughs? And if you can support this with, any success story, any transformative story from your work.
Absolutely. Of course, I have my own success story, my own transformational story. And I love these points. These to me are pivot points. When we hit these failures, when we hit these breakdowns, when we hit these spaces of boredom where our business isn't lighting us up anymore, where it feels like, do I even want to keep doing this? These are all pivot points. These are all actually where you're being invited to shift your business. And
Right.
so I support clients in, again, where is that true north? You've lost the true north. We're not aligned to it anymore. Where is that? And with my ability to see energy and see misaligned energy, see blocks, see kinks, I'm able to not only help them realign to that true north, help them shift that energy and quantum leap into their next evolution. Because that's what's trying to happen. It's trying to be an actual expansion and evolution. So recently I had a client who she was really struggling in her business. She was doing very, very well. And
Mm-hmm.
she helps other entrepreneurs with their branding, with their messaging. And it was very easy for her for a very long time. And then all of a sudden, it started getting really hard. And she went up into her mind and she was looking for strategy and she was creating these offers that should have succeeded. They should have been successful, but they
Hmm.
weren't. And she was getting very frustrated. And all of the ways that were working in the past weren't. And the new strategies she was trying to bring in weren't as well. And so when I started working with her, we realized through my ability to see into her business that she was really not allowing herself to up level into this new space of understanding new gifts that were coming into her availability of how not only she can help clients in the way that she's done in the past, but she can actually help more. And this new pathway of her business that was still rooted in similar work, but a new offering. And I tell you, Sana, this new offering, it immediately lit her up. It was insane how we connected to it so quickly. It lit her up so easily and it felt effortless to her, where this offer or the strategy that she'd been creating did not feel effortless. It actually felt draining. And so as soon as we aligned to that, she didn't even have to create the offer. She already had people coming into her space inquiring about how she could help them because she had already energetically aligned to this new version of her, this new gift, this new offer, and where her business wanted to go.
Mm, lovely, lovely. Wow, that's really, really inspiring, Alara, and really empowering for all of us. So, if our listeners they wish to connect with you, to explore more about wealth, embracing wealth consciousness, and to explore more about your work, how they can do that.
Absolutely. So I'm on all social media, Alara Sage. My website is alarasage.com. And I do have a freebie that is the Quantum Wealth Blueprint. And this is
Mhm.
5 days to strategic revenue growth. And it really breaks down my framework and it helps an entrepreneur walk through these stages of what I did with that client, of where we start with really looking at your business and what's not working, and walking yourself through this transformation. So if there's entrepreneurs that are feeling, oh my gosh, I'm resonating with this, I'm bored, or this isn't working and these strategies and my business isn't working anymore, then this blueprint is really powerful way for you to address this yourself and walk yourself through this process so that your business can make that shift and you can actually step into that next level of wealth.
Lovely, lovely. We'll have all the details mentioned in the show notes, along with the free gift for all of our listeners. And Alara, thank you so much for this enlightening conversation, from embracing abundance to unlocking soul's wealth codes. You have helped us uncover powerful insights into how wealth is about so just more than money. It's about energy, um, alignment with our soul and purpose. So, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your wonderful questions in this space. I appreciate you.
Listeners, I would like to say that abundance starts from within. And as Alara shared, even our greatest challenges can become the stepping stones to our biggest breakthroughs. So, if this conversation has resonated with you, be sure to check out Alara's work, including her Wealth Embodied podcast and the transformative teachings of her Wealth Flow framework. And you can refer all the show notes, all the links in the show notes along with this episode. Also, don't forget, the journey to wealth consciousness is one of empowerment, and you are not alone on this path. Thank you to everyone for tuning into this episode of Mindful Living Podcast. If you loved this episode, leave us a review. Let us know how we are doing and share it with your community, your loved ones. And join us next time as we continue exploring the many facets of mindful, purposeful living. Until then, stay inspired, stay aligned, and as always, stay mindful. Thank you.